Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, Russia just tipped the scales of its race against the US for signing up India's fifth gen fighter jet deal. After having offered local production, transfer of technology, and source code of the Su 57, Russia has given another minor offer within this bigger offer. This offer is for Russia's state of the art 4.5 generation plus jet, the Su 35M. Now, this jet is a completely different class of itself. The thing that the critics of the Su 57 say, and which I concede to a degree, is that it's not been combat tested extensively and the production line is very slow. These two criticisms, however, don't apply for the Su 35. We've essentially seen 35 to 36 Su 35s coming in every year into the Russian Air Force, and their combat experience and their combat record is brilliant, my friends. There is no jet today which has a better combat record than the Su 35. We've seen it appearing more than the sun in skies over Ukraine, and yet just 5 to 7 or 10 at the most have been shot down. It's been more than 1,000 days into the war, and even if you assume 10 of them have gone down, you've seen one jet go down every 3.5 months. That's an excellent record in contested and volatile airspace such as Ukraine. So, what is this jet about? How does it manage to have a successful track record? How does it compare to the Rafale? And what it potentially offers to India? Let us evaluate. First of all, this jet is the pride of the Russian Federation. It scored kills against top of the line fighters of Ukraine, including the F 16. In fact, the Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson said that the F 16 cannot compete with the Su 35, which is, I believe, a bit of tendency, sour grapes tendency. The F 16 is not a bad fighter. A lot of capable air forces, such as Saudi Arabia, UAE, America, obviously, have deployed this jet to devastating effect against their adversaries. But when you look at a force which is essentially made up of ethno nationalists and people more driven out of hate rather than by love, which is what most of the Ukrainian armed forces are, obviously you will see the best of the weapons perform abysmally. Essentially, have been given top of the line Western equipment and they don't know how to operate it. They've managed to, tarnish the Bayraktar, they've managed to tarnish the Excalibur, the Patriot, the Abrams, and now the F 16. That's the latest battle casualty in terms of the PR war. Be that as it may, let us look at the Su 35 in comparison to the Rafale. The thing about the Rafale is it's not very combat proven. See, the first engagement it had against a real air force was in Operation Sindoor, and even in that, if you see, it was used for precision strikes on bordering areas very close to the POK, to the LOC and the proper international border. In POK and in bordering areas of Punjab, such as it hit Bahawalpur, it hit even Muridke, these terror camps all over. Brilliant striking, but the range was not great enough. Besides, the fact that the French yet haven't given us the Meteor, which is the top of the line air to air missile that they have. That's significantly restricted the capability of the Rafale. In fact, all our kills during this episode, be it the two F 16s, one JF 17 as well, even one AVAX, it's been through surface to air missiles, such as the S 400. We've not scored an air to air kill yet. Despite of the unfortunate episode on February 27, 2019, we still not acquired beyond visual range extensive air-to-air missiles. Now, what do we stand to get with the Su 35? They obviously will offer to integrate the BrahMos. And see, what we need to see is that the Su 35 and the Su 30 MKI, which is our mainstay, they share 80% technical similarity. So we can already perform a lot of modifications such as BrahMos integration. But the Russian weapons which come along with it, one of them is the R-37M, which is also being offered for the Su-30, by the way. I don't know which strategic genius has persuaded us not to go for this so far, but long range extensive missiles have been the game changer in this particular theater. Pakistan got around 500 of them along with their shipment of F-16s, Block 52 F-16s, which they got back in 2009 and 10. So we should have back then gone for the R-37 missile to tip the scales in our favor again. This missile has scored 2 kills already, one against a MiG-29 at a range of around more than 200 kilometers, and one against an F-16. of Ukraine at a similar range. So it's also a proven weapon as such. And if you operate the Su-30 without this, you're essentially relying on a toothless tiger. We see that the Su-30 was the jet which turned the scale of the battle in our favor. It dodged 8 PL-15 missiles. It dodged one HQ-9. Back in 2019, it had dodged several AMRAAM missiles. Now, why is it able to do this? Such a huge airframe. It literally is visible on the radar. It's visible from the ground. Yet, why can it do this? I tell you, my friends, there are two worlds when it comes to physics. One is our normal world, and one world is the world of Sukhoi Design Bureau. The physics of the normal world quits itself. It dies at the footstep of the Sukhoi Design Bureau headquarters. So we cannot look at Sukhoi jets with the realm of normal world physics. That's period. I've reached this conclusion long ago. Now, coming to the next thing. What speciality does the Su-35 offer? We need to realize this, that we are acquiring more S-400 batteries. That's a fact. See, we took down multiple of their aircrafts. S-400 was a stellar performance. This deal which we signed, $5.5 billion, is a huge amount of money. Also, the political risk we took, potentially being sanctioned under CATSA, it was worth all the risk. We've had our money's worth with this platform. And there'll be no doubt if India goes for more of these. Also, if we establish a manufacture maintenance and rehaul facility, as our Defense Secretary Mr. R.K. Singh has clearly stated that there are plans for that. In fact, we've also identified an Indian firm which will help in maintenance of the S-400 along with the Russian company itself. So we need a fighter that will be easily configurable with the air defense. We don't need complexities. We don't need a exhibition or a diverse inventory. We need weapon systems which are easily integrated and which can move in perfect sync with each other. And that's where the Su-35 comes in. The Su-35 is enabled with a data link which helps it to communicate with the S-400 air defense system. We know that the gravestone radar of the S-400 can detect targets coming in from ranges of 600 kilometers. The radars which the Su-30 and the Su-35 use, the pilot knows that there is something coming in and he can prepare for a preemptive strike against any potential target. So that definitely needs to happen. Then even the Su-35 can provide information to the S-400 about aerial targets which are coming in. Quite often, smaller projectiles or more stealthier versions of jets are not very easy to detect, and systems can be easily overwhelmed. In fact, the first kill which this Su-35 scored against the F-16 back in April, that was courtesy this integrated system. Then one more thing that the Su-35 has in its wings is the Khibini radar, is the Khibini electronic warfare system. The Khibini system can help it to easily trick incoming missiles. It can send confusing electronic signals which disrupts radars of the enemies, which is why we've seen such a low shoot down rate. I would like to point out one particular incident from December last year where a Su-35 pilot managed to dodge a barrage of 3 Patriot air defense systems. This multi-million-dollar air defense system, which is the pride of America. You see, the best possible system America or NATO can offer, yet it did not manage to shoot down the Su-35 on that occasion because of the sheer skills of the Russian pilots and the engineering miracle that Sukhoi Design Bureau has done with this particular machine. Excellent bird and brilliant track record. So compare it with the Rafale. We are still not getting the source code. We haven't got the Meteor missile, despite the fact that other operators of the Rafale, such as the UAE, Qatar, they have already gotten the Meteors. Even Greece, I think, has received it. So why hasn't India been able to receive it as yet? Where is the problem? They are willing to make their fuselages in India, which will boost local manufacturing to an extent. But unless you have the source code, you rely on them for modifications to the aircraft. You rely on them for basic repair and maintenance, and that could be a nightmare in a warlike situation. And obviously, it costs much more once you get it done from outside. The fact that we had easy access to the source code of the Su-30, we manufacture its engines at our HAL facility in Nashik. We have been easily able to change whatever we want according to our convenience. We have Israeli systems on it. We have some French addition as well to it. We obviously in 2016 we successfully tested the BrahMos from this platform. So that's the advantage that we get once you have this autonomy with any weapon. So that is why I believe that the Su-35 stands a much greater chance when it comes to winning the MRFA deal, the deal for 110 4.5 generation fighters. And the fact that it comes along with the Su-57, it has put the Russians firmly in top position. And this proposal is being considered. Our defense secretary has pointed out that a stopgap measure will be taken by importing fifth gen fighters from an allied country. So which ally is it and which jet would that be? We'll definitely evaluate this statement in a future video. As of now, if you found this video to be interesting, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, thank you so much friends. Jai Hind.